It's that time of the week one more time. It's live, and it's in the interest of the people. They're going to make you laugh, and they'll even make you mad enough to chew nails. Either way, they have you tuned in. So sit back in that easy chair and get close to a phone, because you can call and talk to them. You better get you something to drink, because you may need it also. Take it away, guys.
We're so excited to be here tonight. We've already had too much fun. But we're ready to go.
We may have a lot more fun for us.
Yes, we are.
Welcome in to In the Interest of the People. We do have a full program lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking with our new sheriff in just a few seconds. He wants to, we've invited, he didn't call me to be on here, folks, so don't accuse him of hogging the TV. We've called him, and I've also called Mr. Draper. We're going to try to get him on there for a few minutes and let them thank you for all the votes and what they'd like to see coming up the next 4 years. We've got a special guest in a little bit later on that you don't want to miss. Mr. Dave McComish. His wife passed away in June. They've been married almost 60 years, and she had Alzheimer's for several years. And I learned about this Saturday, and I've been his barber. Well, I've been cutting his hair. He don't think much of me as a barber. He said he has to go somewhere else to get his hair straightened up. But I found out about her passing away, and I asked him if he'd be willing to come on our show and talk about some of the problems or some of the experiences he's experienced, I guess you would say. And might be some folks out there listening in that are going through some of the same problems. And he's here to talk about what he experienced for several years and share with you. And we will take phone calls if you want to call him and talk about anything. You're certainly welcome to 369-1688. He will be on with us in just a little bit later on. Had a good week. It's been great. Thursday night I was down at Tina's on East Street. The Lions Club invited me down to speak. I said, why are you inviting me to speak? They said, we don't want a speaker, and you're the closest thing we've found, so we're inviting you to come down. Had a good time, had a real good turnout, and of course, as always, Tina does a good job. We go by there once or twice a week and get breakfast. Tina has one of the best breakfasts, I think, in town. But we appreciate the Lions Club. Went by Fincher's today going out East Street, and Pansy has painted her restaurant. Have you been by and saw that?
What color?
It's blue, I think. I remember seeing it, but I'm not sure. I think it's a blue color.
Okay.
Beautiful. And I appreciate Pansy and all the folks in town that are sprucing up and building the buildings and renovating the buildings. Talladaga's on the move, folks. The square is looking great. A lot of activity going on in the square. Another couple of buildings have just been purchased recently, and they'll be opening up real soon. Another building is under contract now. So a lot of good things going on in Talladega City that's open for business, and we appreciate all of our merchants, what they're doing. Sheriff, are you there?
Yes, sir.
How does it feel to have a few minutes to just sit back and relax?
Well, I don't know yet.
You ain't unwound yet?
Well, the campaign is over with now, so we're back to doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's catching the crooks and help protecting the good people of the county.
Well, Sheriff, I want to congratulate you. This is your first run for office, and you did great. You about a 60% vote, roughly, and I think you ran a great race, and I'm proud to know who you are. I know you. I've known you through the years, and I've always been impressed with you. You've always been a super employee when you worked for us with the city, and apparently the folks thought enough of you to give you an opportunity to serve as a sheriff. And if you stay in as long as Sheriff Stutter did, then that'll put you up close to 100 when you get ready to retire.
First class.
I don't believe I'll be breaking his record there.
You can't ever tell. Can't ever tell.
Great character. Great
But
character.
I'm so grateful and so appreciative of him. He was my mentor over the years, and he taught me a lot about public service and the role of the sheriff in the county, and learned a lot under that man. And I think his record of being the longest serving sheriff in Talladega County is going to stand for a long, long time.
You had a strong opponent. I was very impressed with Mr. Draper. Of course, he was everywhere. I mean, that man showed up everywhere. And he ran a strong race to be the first time to ever get involved in any kind of politics and not been really involved in public life as such. And we commend him for the strong race that he ran. But
Absolutely.
I understand his. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to start out and certainly thank the voters, the good folks of Talladega County that came out and voted and supported us. We very overwhelmed and humbled by their trust and confidence, and we don't take that lightly. We're going to continue to try to earn that every day and do the job that the good folks elected us to do. And I'm very proud of the employees that the Sheriff's Department has. A lot of dedicated professional men and women that I think do a great job. And I think the voters echoed those sentiments Tuesday night.
Sheriff, I found out, knowing you through the years, and especially since you've been sheriff, that you're very accessible. You do return phone calls, and that's always been a pet peeve with me. I have a problem with elected officials that won't return phone calls or they ignore the people. People don't forget that kind of stuff. Come election time, you may ignore me today, but 4 years from now, I'm going to vote again. And you just don't ignore the people who put you in office. And I appreciate you being accessible and returning phone calls. That'll help keep you in office. Long as people may not always agree with you, but if you take time to talk with them and share with them and try to understand their problem, it may not be important to you when a person calls you, but it's important to that person or they wouldn't have called you. And I've always tried to be available and always return calls and listen to the folks. And I found you to be the same way.
Well, you sure have, and I appreciate that. I promise you, since Tuesday night, I've done nothing but talk on the telephone and returning phone calls and social media messages and everything else. But, if I've missed somebody, it was definitely an oversight because I've burned up a lot of battery time on this phone. But people say that's a good problem to have, so I hope they keep calling. I hope they don't quit.
When the phone quits ringing is when you get concerned.
That's right. That's right.
Sheriff, before I let you go, you and I both know, I believe it's listed in the paper as William Canada. We know him as Frank, or knew him as Frank Canada. I've been knowing the young man all of his life. I know when he was born in Talladega, his dad, Mr. Will Canada, worked in the probate judge's office for forever. And his mother, her name has slipped my mind now. She worked in either DPS, Department of Pension Security, or either with Social Security. I'm not sure. But Frances, I believe her name was Frances Canada. Frank was killed Saturday night. For you that know Frank, went to school with him, know his mother and dad through the years. They don't know all the details yet. It's front page of the Anderson Star said Anderson man charged with murder. Police say victim was killed late Friday night. And the man that killed him was 26 years old, Russell Lowry Arnold. And it says it says William Canada here, but we know him as Frank, 53 years old of Anderson, and said that he knew the person who killed him, and that's the only one that's going to be charged at this point in time. His body had been sent to the Department of Forensic Science for an autopsy, and the police are not releasing anything else at this time. And I'm sure it'll be in probably Tuesday, Wednesday's paper. Sheriff, you knew Frank.
I knew Frank very well. Frank served as a paramedic some time ago in Talladega, and he also was a registered nurse, and he was the medical director for our company that provides our contracted health care services at the county jail for a number of years, and did a great job for us. It's very shocking news and very tragic news. We're saddened to hear
Right.
about that. I don't know any more details really than what you just gave out, but I know he left behind a wife and children, and very tragic.
We offer our condolences to the family, and we're here any way we can, anything we can do. Frank started working with us, I believe it was in my first term, maybe second term. I don't know, was you with the police, the paramedics or the police department at that time when he would come down and volunteer his help? And
Yeah, I think I was.
Got started with the City of Talladega paramedic.
I started out at the paramedic department. I think I moved to the police department at that time.
Right.
And when he started coming around, and he always did a great job.
we offer our condolences to the family and any way we can help. Sheriff, I appreciate you taking time to be with us. Anytime that you need us, this TV station, we're here for you.
I'm here, Mayor, and I just want to say that to the veterans, there's some activities coming up this week to honor those folks that served our country and gave us the continued right to go out and do what we did at the polls on Tuesday. Those are the true heroes, and we certainly appreciate and honor them and wish them the best.
You're right, Sheriff, and we'll have a situation or a parade in town in Talladega Tuesday, start probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then it will go on down to the Veterans Park there in Talladega. There'll be a ceremony there about noon, and everyone's invited to come out and see the parade and also come on down to Veterans Park and be a part of that event Tuesday in Talladega. I know Sylacauga's got something. I don't have the information about this, but I know there's something going on in Sylacauga.
Yes, sir.
Tuesday around 10 o'clock, I understand, in Sylacauga. So
Okay.
they're talking to me in my earphone here, so I'm not lost of word. Going to start somewhere around the high school and go through Sylacauga. Anyway, if you're interested or if you got time, please go out and be a part of the veterans parades and events, and let them know that you do appreciate their service to our community and to our nation. Sheriff, once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Charlotte. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Goodbye.
As Sheriff Kilgore, just been elected this past Tuesday for a full term. And you know, he was appointed by the governor some time back to serve in the unexpired term, and the people went to the polls Tuesday and voted. Had about approximately 40 to 50% of people turn out and vote. And that's better than normal. But the rest of you 40 to 50% of people that didn't vote and you don't like what happened, you need to keep your mouth shut. That's just plain
You
old
need to
how it is.
vote.
Don't forget Rehab First at McGuffey Healthcare in Gaston. Any kind of rehab you could possibly need, they're there for you 24/7. Admission 7 days a week, got private room, 24-hour RN coverage, and the list is endless about what they can do for you in case of rehab. They also have long-term care in case you need a stay, long-term care. And we're going to be talking about different things, Alzheimer's and so forth, that sometimes might require a long-time stay. We're going to be talking with Mr. Dave McComish about how he was able to take care of his wife during this time, but he had a lot of help that came in. Some folks are not as fortunate, and you have to rely on people like Rehab First, and they're first class. They're there to take care of your needs when you need them, and we appreciate them being one of our sponsors. Don't forget Stampede Restaurant. They're there 7 days a week from about 11 in the morning to about 8 o'clock at night. Any kind of meal you could possibly want, they're there for you. Thanksgiving is coming up. I don't know. I think they're going to be open on Thanksgiving. Not sure yet, but we'll find out for sure. In case you need to go somewhere for dinner, for Thanksgiving dinner, we'll let you know if they're going to be there for you. Miss Charlotte, let me get this phone call. Before we get this phone call, Mr. Engineer, can you show Mary playing football right quick? I tell you what, Alabama and Auburn, I don't know what happened to them. I mean,
We had a good
there was some
time.
crazy stuff.
It was
That
great.
last play on Auburn, I don't know where the quarterback was, but he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And when that center snapped that ball, I don't know what he had in mind on, but he didn't have no ball. His mind on catching no ball.
No.
Go ahead and play it.
strange.
I got Jeff on the phone. We're fixing to put him on. Go ahead and play a ball. There it is.
Come on.
Jeff,
Hello there, Larry. How you doing?
turn your TV down, Jeff.
Did he get in there?
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Oh, wow.
Oh, squishy. Knock that loose.
Jeff,
Knock that
turn your
loose.
TV down.
Get it back in.
Got it down. Got it.
We'll give a blood transfusion. I can get go with. Have that snug in them. Hold him. Get him. Not too bad. Come on.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, go ahead. What you got to say about that game last night, Jeff?
Well, I stayed up till 11 o'clock after till that ball game was over with.
Went in overtime, didn't it, Jeff?
Went in and overtime, I watched every bit of that game.
Every
Did you watch the Auburn game?
I watched the Auburn game. Auburn was looking good.
Jeff, wait a minute, Jeff.
Huh?
You ain't running for public office telling that kind of junk. You ain't running trying to get elected or something, are you?
No.
Auburn didn't look good to me, and Alabama didn't look good. I mean, they was pitiful.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what happened.
You don't like that bad mouthing, do you? Saban don't either. But I tell you what,
know,
if Alabama had played ball the whole game like they did the last few minutes, then you'd have seen a different ball game. But both games was pitiful. I'm telling you.
That is pitiful. Yeah.
Heart attack.
Yeah.
I went to polls last Tuesday.
You went to the polls last Tuesday and you voted.
Kilgore won.
When did you discover that, Jeff?
Well, I voted for him.
All right. A lot of people did. A lot of people voted for Mr. Draper. It was a good contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, we got to go. We got other guests. And we got.
Yeah, I want to tell everybody roll all the way, but don't forget, coming up Thursday, the Penrod concert coming up Thursday night.
We're going to be talking about that in a little bit, Jeff.
I thought I'd let you know that.
You getting ahead of me.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'll stay ahead, everybody.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Before you take another breath, let me say happy birthday.
Go ahead and say happy birthday.
Happy birthday to two really nice people, Amanda McLean and Sandra Bishop Thornton.
Happy birthday, ladies. We're going to go to a break. We got to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to do 2 or 3 other little things here, and then we're going to go to our good friend, Mr. Dave McComish, and let him talk about his experience having to deal with a wife of almost 60 years, and she came down with Alzheimer's and how he coped with it and some of the problems he encountered.
Job.
Don't you go anywhere. I don't know if you'll enjoy it, but you'll appreciate how he handled it. We got to go to break. Be right back.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual remember, share, and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? It's so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that. Want a bite? You're aging. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, guys. Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good. State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Welcome back.
We got a few more things we want to get out of the way here, and then we're going to go to Mr. McComish and talk about his situation of how he handled a wife of 60 years who came down with Alzheimer's. Don't forget, Mr. Draper, are you there?
I'm here.
Mr. Tony Draper, congratulations. You ran for sheriff. I think it's probably the first time in the history of Talladega County that we've had a person of color become the nomination on the Democrat Party. You beat out Mr. Clarence Haynes, who had never been beaten before, and you ran a strong race. And I've told a lot of people, Mr. Kilgore was well-known, 35-year man, been involved in the public life, and he was well-known. You was a newcomer to politics, but you ran a strong race one-on-one. You didn't have a lot of money, you said, to spend. You didn't have a lot of TV exposure, but you went one-on-one, and that's how I won the first time I ran for mayor. I went door to door, every house, letting the people know I wanted their vote. Congratulations on your strong race.
You there, Mayor?
Yeah, you turn your TV down so you can hear us.
Okay, there.
You're trying to talk to me and listen to that TV at the same time. I was just complimenting you on the outstanding job you did, and I want to give you an opportunity to say anything you want to the people.
Well, I'd like to say first
thank you for my contributors and also for the people for the 7,100 people that voted for me. I really appreciate it. I'm flattered. And I'd like to thank Mr. Kilgore for keeping his word and running a clean race. I've heard from the citizens they were glad that it didn't get dirty, and they were pleased with that. And I'm looking forward. County's in good hands. He'll go forward and do a good job. Like I said, I hope we can get together, and I hope he take me up on some of the ideas I got that I hit him with on the campaign trail. But he's your sheriff. The people have spoken, and it's time to move forward.
Mr. Draper, I appreciate you. I know for sure you was on here 2 or 3 times. We tried to be fair to both of you and let you be on here. I offered Mr. Clarence Haynes an opportunity, and also Dallas Davenport. And Mr. Davenport and Mr. Haynes did not choose to be on the TV set, on the program, and that's okay. All we can do is offer the program to you, and you took advantage of it, and I appreciate you doing that.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
If you need us, holler.
All right.
Today we went out to Peace Baptist Church, Mayor and I, and we paid honor to Miss Maddie Pauline Smiley, 44 years serving as a pianist. And the house was packed, a lot of people bragging on her and complimenting her, and Miss Smiley's a super nice lady, and they're going to miss her at Peace Baptist Church. The November the 22nd, the 6th Annual Art Extravaganza at Al Jarreau Power Memorial Lodge Plank Road Station down at Winterboro. More than 40 outdoor vendors with a wide range of crafts, homemade baked items, wood crafts, health and beauty products, so on and so on. And we'll talk more about this next week, and hopefully have Miss Joyce Howard on here to talk more about this. The Christmas parade will be the first Monday in December. If you're interested in being in the parade, you need to contact the folks with the connected with the Christmas parade, Miss Misty McGee at United Way. She is helping head this up, and you need to contact them if you're interested in being in the Christmas parade. Do we have Ben Duke had a little non-human. Ben, have you got that lined up right quick for us? Had a little Boston Terrier named Baby Girl, and Ben had her about 10 years, and Ben said he went through a long time sickness, several years of sickness, and his little non-human was right there with him, helped get him through his sickness. She passed away today, and there's Ben and Baby Girl. I know we have 2 little Shih Tzus, and we're crazy about them little non-humans, and it would make us sad if we lost them. But we want to show you Ben's little non-human. One other thing, and then we're going to our, we got to go to another break, and then we're going to our guest. Do we have the George Culver lined up for the upcoming events? Okay. While you're getting that lined up, I don't know if we can do both of them. Okay, go ahead. This coming Thursday night, Friday night?
So Thursday night, of course, is just to repeat that, Thursday night is Guy Penrod.
Right.
Tickets are $18, which is great, and $10 for students. And there's some left, so don't let him get out of town without seeing him. We got
now, you might mention
he's terrific.
You can have a special meeting with him?
Well, that's unfortunately sold out. He allowed us to have 50 tickets that we could set aside center front, and he's going to do a meet and greet for like an hour, 45 minutes before the show, with a little more personal up close. And those tickets, I mean, they were sold in 2 days. You know, people love him and his fans.
You should have had 100 tickets.
I wish, but you know, you can only make it personable if it's a limited number of people. Now, after the show, I think he's going to be selling some CDs, and he'll be signing those, and there'll be an opportunity to meet him, but not
a personal,
to have a finger sandwich and a cup of tea and chat with him a minute. It won't be that opportunity. Unfortunately, those tickets are sold out.
That's next Thursday night.
That's this coming Thursday night. Yeah, next Thursday night. And then Friday is the culmination of the season. Is and again, Mayor, we're very lucky to pull this one off. We've got Black Jacket Symphony. Now, a lot of you folks have probably been reading about Black Jacket Symphony, you know, especially they're out of Birmingham, but they're becoming amazingly popular and in demand throughout the Southeast. I actually just saw them, Mayor, last Saturday night at the Alabama Theater. in Birmingham. And
that's a big organization.
Sold out, 2,500 seats. So this is how popular this group is and how lucky we are to have them in Talladega.
It says here, the Beatles, Abbey Road.
Let me tell you, let me explain to everybody Black Jacket Symphony.
Perform live in its entirety.
Perform live. But they believe, they have this philosophy that the great rock albums of the last 50 years, from the Beatles to today, is the classic music of our era. And they approach it with that kind of seriousness.
There it is on the screen there.
Absolutely. And they approach it with that kind of seriousness, that they pull the musicians together that can recreate the sound as it came out of the recording studio, which is amazing.
That's unreal.
And if you're sitting there listening to a Black Jacket Symphony concert, you think you are listening to the group live. They are amazing. And we're lucky, and maybe we'll have them again. We've got to show success with this one. But we thought no group in the last 50 years have been more important or more influential than the Beatles.
Now let me,
and we're doing their last album, which is that Abbey Road, that magnificent Abbey Road album.
Being backwoods myself. The Black Jacket.
I'm from Munford.
Well,
can't get more backwoods.
We're almost kinfolk. Black Jacket. I know what Black Jacket says, and I know what I would think it means.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're wearing black jackets?
It means they're wearing a black blazer. It's not a tuxedo.
Okay.
Just, they all. In other words, the point is that it's as neutral as possible. They don't get up there and try to put on costumes and talk like the Beatles or try to look like the Beatles. They're focusing on the Beatles music.
On the music itself.
And here's how the concert runs. The first half, the first set, will be a recreation of the album Abbey Road, which is the Beatles' last album as an ensemble, as a group. Then the second half, they'll do Beatles' greatest hits. So it'll be a nice evening to relive. I mean, we've all experienced the Beatles at various opportunities and instances in our lives over the last 50 years, so it'll be a terrific concert. Trust me, first class. There's still some seats left. We want to encourage people to come out. Tickets are $22, and the students are 18. Remember, we always have a group opportunity at the Ritz, group discount, and for groups of 5 or more, you take another $2 off each ticket. So get your couple of 2 or 3 couples together and have a very affordable night of first-class music and entertainment. So that's coming up this week at the Ritz.
If you want to call and get your tickets, reserve your tickets, or call and make arrangements to get your ticket, 256-315-000, 315-000, or you can go online, www.ritztalladega.com.
You can actually get your tickets online now, and we have a new ticketing system, and you can pull it up and see what seats are available, choose your own seats, and buy them on the spot. So we're kind of getting high tech there now. We had to get into the 21st century, so we're kind of proud about that.
Everybody will enjoy that.
If you tied George Culver's hands,
you can't.
He could not say a word.
You can't tie.
But I believe that's the most enthusiastic individual, and he's doing a great job at the Ritz Theater as executive director. And I tell you what, folks, there's shows coming to the Ritz that you would normally see on Broadway, New York, Washington, Birmingham. They're coming to downtown Talladega. You have an opportunity to see some of these great shows. And this is Thursday and Friday night, 2 big nights this coming Thursday and Friday night.
Don't miss that one.
No.
Oh, it's going to be great.
We've got a couple of things, and then we're going to Mr. McComish. Don't forget Rehab First. If you need any kind of Rehab First has got it for you. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're going to be talking with Mr. McComish in just a little bit about his wife, Alzheimer's. Rehab First has long-term care. If you have a situation that you're faced with, that you just can't take care of it, Rehab First has one of the best facilities to help you with your loved one. And we recommend Rehab First. We've used them. Charlotte's used them in the past, and we recommend them 100%.
I may have to use them again.
Yes. I want to tell you one thing, and then we're going to go to a break, and we're coming back. Police, 3-year-old hung up by feet, beaten, killed in Pennsylvania. I hope that he can show you these pictures. Police say a man and his girlfriend are charged with murdering their girlfriend's 3-year-old son. Chester County District Attorney Tom Hogan announced the arrests of Gary Fellenbaum and Jillian Tate Thursday morning. He says Fellenbaum, his wife, and his girlfriend, Tate, all lived together in a mobile home in West Kane Township and worked at a local Walmart. This is in Pennsylvania. On Tuesday, authorities were called to the residence to report an unresponsive child. Responding, they found a 3-year-old Scott McMillan suffering from bruises, laceration, and puncture wounds all over the body. Police say Fellenbaum, Tate, and Fellenbaum's wife Amber confessed that the little boy had been beaten with blunt and sharp objects, whipped, taped to a chair with electrical tape, beaten, hung up by his feet, and beaten, leading to his death. Authorities say they beat Scott to death using homemade weapons like a whip, a curtain rod, and aluminum strip. Police say Tate explained that the fatal beating began when the boy wouldn't eat his breakfast. Hogan said little Scotty Milam is dead. Over a 3-day period, he was systematically tortured and beaten to death. He was punched in the face and in the stomach. He was scourged with a homemade whip. He was lashed with a metal rod. He was tied to a chair and beaten. He was tied upside down by his feet and beaten. His head was smashed through a wall. Hogan said professionals with deep experience in these type of cases were brought to tears. ER nurses said they had seen a lot of things in life, but they'd never seen anything like this, and they wept when they saw the situation. The district attorney says Gary Fellenbaum and Tate went car shopping, bought pizza, and took a nap as the child lay dying after weeks of relentless torture. Tate allegedly told police that Fellenbaum beat her 6- and 3-year-old boys on a number of occasions. He would allegedly hit them with a closed fist in the head, face, chest, and buttocks, and on one occasion she said he strung the boys up by the feet and beat them while she and Fellenbaum laughed. Their 6-year-old boy is now in the care of relatives. Fellenbaum and Tate are charged with murder. Hogan says he will be seeking the death penalty. I hope he gets it, and they ought to take him outside in town and find the nearest guillotine, or take an old chainsaw and just lay the head on the curb and saw their heads off, folks. I have no patience with this kind of garbage, and it's a shame that they'll say, well, they were crazy, and they didn't know what they were doing.
There's a front seat waiting.
Well, I'd want to do something to them before they got to hell. I'd want to. I just have no patience with this kind of stuff, folks. It's all uncalled for.
You don't escape that. You'll never escape it.
They need to turn them over to a community group and let them take care of it. Well, you take them to a jury, and the jury may turn them loose. Say, well, they was mentally off and they'd been abused when they was a child, and I don't know patience with this kind of stuff.
I don't care.
369-1688 if you want to get in on this in just a little bit. Got to go to break, and we're coming back with Mr. McComish.
Planning a get-together, sporting event, or special occasion, let CG's help make the event more enjoyable. CG's can advise you on a favorite champagne or special wine imported from all over the world, as well as from New York and California. Perhaps you'd rather choose a muscadine wine from Alabama. CG's also has a nice selection of the latest in stemless wine glasses or champagne and water glasses. Only at CG's can you obtain your favorite imported beer, party supplies, mixes, and a variety of nuts. By the way, don't forget a gift for your favorite hostess. Visit CG's, conveniently located in Talladega at the corner of Howard and West.
A death is a troubling time for any family. Talladega Funeral Home offers dignity, respect, professionalism, commitment, and fairness to all families in need. We listen carefully. We know that some of us find great comfort in traditions, and we work tirelessly to honor those traditions. Our professional team gets to know each and every family member to help each and every individual remember, share, and ultimately move towards healing. Contact Brittany Boozer at Talladega Funeral Home today, 256-362-0111. Talladega Funeral Home. We care because every life has a story.
Have you tried one of these? This is so good. Man, I can't believe we haven't done this before. Oh, wow, look at that. Want a bite? You're aging. Do the jingle. Do the jingle. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, guys. Do it again. Do it again. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. In my office.
State Farm.
I think we're good.
State Farm agents are there when you need them.
Welcome back. My Scottish cousin is here. I know he must be my cousin
I didn't
from
know
somewhere.
you was from Ireland.
No, I'm from Scotland.
Folks, I've been sharing with you for 30, 40 minutes, and if you missed the program thus far, you can tune it in at 8:30 on Channel 10 tonight. Tomorrow morning on Channel 80 at 8 o'clock a.m. Tomorrow night at 9 on Channel 80 p.m. That's in the morning.
You just never get off TV, do
at
you?
night. And if you go to YouTube, you can get us YouTube 24/7. What a deal.
What a deal.
You can't get away from me without turning it off. But Mr. Dave McComish, longtime friend, I've been butchering his head up for many years, and he was in the barbershop yesterday, for Saturday. And he shared with me that his wife had passed away in June. I was not aware of that. They'd been married almost 60 years, and he said that she had died from Alzheimer's. And I have looked for a while to try to find someone that would be willing to come on here and share. I hear about Alzheimer's all the time, dementia, and some of the problems that people encounter. And he said he'd be more than glad to come over here and share with you what he experienced during this time. He did not put her in a nursing home, and this is not a reflection on anybody that does. He was fortunate to be able to take care at home with the help he had, and I've asked him to be with us. Mr. Dave McComish, thank you, sir.
Glad to be here.
I appreciate you coming over from Shelby County.
Yeah.
Over Vandiver.
Vandiver.
Right downtown Vandiver.
Oh, the sticks.
Yeah, they got a nudist colony over there. Y'all famed for y'all's nudist colony.
Well, I rode by there and whistled at a few of them.
But it's indeed an honor to have you with us. You've been a long-time friend, and of course we offer our condolences about the wife, even though she passed away in June. But I did a little bit of research. It says more than 5 million Americans are living with a disease. Every 67 seconds, someone in the United States develops Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. There are approximately 500,000 people dying each year because they have Alzheimer's. 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia. In 2013, 15.5 million caregivers provided an estimated 17.7 billion hours of unpaid care valued at more than $220 billion. In her 60s, a woman estimated in her 60s, a woman estimated lifetime risk for developing Alzheimer's is 1 in 6. For breast cancer, it's 1 in 11. There are 2.5 times more women than men providing intensive on-duty care 24 hours a day for someone with Alzheimer's. Almost 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women. More than 60% of Alzheimer's and dementia caregivers are women. Mr. McComish, you and your wife have married almost 60 years.
Right.
And y'all were a team.
Oh, yeah. You know, people say marriage is a 50-50 proposition. It's 100-100. It's the only way it'll work. You know, and we tried to put the 100% in there. Enjoyed all the time. Had our differences, you know, but
had a lot of good times together.
Oh yeah, a whole lot more good times than bad.
You lived in the area?
Yeah.
All your life, or most of your life there?
Since I was 15, we lived in Childersburg. My dad transferred with Kimberly Clark down here, and lived in Childersburg up until 1970, and then moved out there in the sticks.
Moved to the country?
Yeah.
You're a golfer? Well, you play golf.
Not very good.
There's a picture of the late Meta.
Yeah.
Juanita is her name, but everybody referred to her as Meta.
Yeah.
McComish, that's MACOMISH. Mr. Davey, if you would, look in this camera right here. We'll go back to that picture in just a little bit, if you will. Look in this camera right here. This is your camera. And share with the people when you first noticed that your wife was experiencing a little bit of problems.
The first time I had any thought about either Alzheimer's or dementia, she left to go home and get a night's rest when I was in the hospital. It's been about 4 or 5 years ago. And she got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. She got disoriented. And from then on, I started noticing different things, but I still couldn't believe it was. And you might probably know that dementia is just a short-term memory loss. And it is such, I wouldn't wish it off on my worst enemy, either to the patient or to the family or the caregiver that's trying to give it to her, because a family told me, said, you need to get some help. It will wear you out physically, mentally, emotionally, and I began to see that. So we had an in-house hospice come in, and they come in twice a week, and one lady would give her a bath, shampoo her hair, and the other was a registered nurse, and they were exceptional. I mean, I had no complaints on those people. And we also had a lady that we've been knowing for probably 25 years or more, that she would sit with Nita. If I had to go to town or something, I would call her and she'd come over. Wouldn't accept a penny for it. I mean, that's just the kind of people that nobody ever hears about it. And if she happens to have a way to get a hold of this program, I want you to know, Kim, that you are one exceptional person. I just,
She lived in the Vanderbilt area too, or in?
Lives in Sterrett.
Sterrett, yeah.
Yep. But anyway, I learned the hard way that you have to watch them every minute. I mean, you turn your back on her, and she was out the door. She was at least 2 miles from our house, walking out to Highway 25 there in Vanderbilt. And some gracious fellow happened to just pick her up, and he took her to the volunteer fire department chief's house. And in fact, I was getting out of the hospital, and on my way home when he called me, and he said, "Dave, we have your wife. I'm up here at your house," and then explained to me why. And other times, another time she went missing, and I found her. And they don't realize what they're doing. They just, and the last time we had a fire and rescue squad, had 3 deputy sheriff's cars, volunteer fire department guys that were on 4-wheelers, because we live way out in the sticks up on a mountain. And they were just about to call the state troopers to come in and locate her. And one of the deputy sheriffs was calling her name and everything. He just walked up on her. She was laying there in the woods about 150 feet from the house. But from that time until she died, she went downhill so quickly after that. And I want to tell you straight up, it is not a fun time. I had to make sure I tripped the breakers on the oven and the surface unit, because she started 2 fires on there, and I just happened to smell it. And I'd tell her, "Look, if you have to get up to use the bathroom, wake me up." But she'd just sneak off. She fell. We have a sunken bathroom tub, and she fell off and hit, and she was bruised from this whole side of her face. And then she fell a couple other times and hurt herself. And I tried every way in the world to get her to go with me. I'd take her down to UAB, and there was a neurologist that would meet with the patient and try to see what's going on with them. And at the last minute, she would back out. I'm talking about, I was dressed, she was dressed, we were ready to walk out the door, but she just said, "I can't go." And I tell you, it's just like she'd start whispering to me, and I'd say, "Why are you whispering?" She said, "There's some people down the hall." And I said, "Well, do you know who they are?" "No." I said, "Did you let them in?" "No." I said, "Well, how did they get in? The doors are locked." She said, "I don't know." Like, "You dummy, why are you asking me?" And but we'd be sitting there on the sofa, maybe watching TV or something, and she'd look over at me and say, "Are we related?" And I say, "Yeah." She'd say, "How?" I said, "Well, I'm your husband." "You're my husband? Why didn't somebody tell me?"
It's I guess, and sometimes it's humorous to some degree.
Oh yeah.
But it's sad.
Yeah, you if there wasn't a little bit of fun to it, it'd drive you crazy,
Did she, and I'm not being familiar with dementia or Alzheimer's, I'm asking questions now that I certainly don't have a clue to answer. And folks, if you're out there watching tonight and you would like to call in and share with us, 256-369-1688. about maybe some of your experiences, or if you want to ask Mr. Dave a question, he'll be more than glad to answer your question and talk with you about it. You don't have to give your name if you don't want to, but it's 256-369-1688. We're talking Mr. Dave McComish. He lives over around the Banda area, and he been married 60 years. And I was just thinking a while ago when you said that she was bruised and battered, you know, and people don't like to think about this kind of stuff. But I share with people sometimes, you don't know how close you are to going to jail, folks. Mm-hmm. If she had died and the police had come in, you might not could have convinced them that you didn't kill her.
That's right.
That people don't realize some of these things.
Yeah, and you know.
But did she ever share with you that I think I'm beginning to get a little dementia or a little Alzheimer's?
No.
I hear people tell me all the time that they don't know that this is going on.
And from what I understand, their hearing is the last thing to go. Like when we took her to the hospital, she was in there about a week, and then she died. And I walked in. It was on a Thursday when we took her, and on Friday morning I walked in the room, and she was sitting up. Her eyes were clear, and I said, "Well, look at you." And I walked over to the bed and I said, "Honey, I love you." And she said, "I love you too." And from then on, when I got ready to leave to go home and get some rest, she would be laying on her side and she was just out of it. And I'd lean down and I'd whisper, you know, I'd say, "Honey, I love you." And her mouth would move because she could hear me, but she couldn't answer me. And what was really hard to look at, in fact, I have another picture. I wish I'd have brought it.
To show the
of her about a week or two before she died. Her normal weight was like 118 pounds. And when she died, she weighed less than 70 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Engineer, can we show a picture again on the screen while we're talking? Mr. Dave, we got a call here. Let's see. I'm sorry, we got you cut off. If you want to call back, we'd be glad to take the call, 369-1688. This is a picture of Miss Juanita, better known as Mita, or Mita? Nita, yeah. And this was, she and Mr. Day was married almost 60 years. And this was made, what, 7, 8, 10 years ago before she came down with Alzheimer's?
Probably about 8 or 10 years ago.
Yeah. And here again, not experiencing this situation, when people say, "I think I've got Alzheimer's, I think I got dementia," is this true? I hear that you don't know when you're losing.
No, you don't have any notion. Like, after she got lost leaving the hospital up there, the only place I would let her drive is to Leeds to the beauty shop to get her hair done. And she'd go right up there and come right on back. Well, see, it's getting progressively worse. And so one day I get a phone call, and instead of being in Leeds, she was down where you turn to go to Lake Purdy, which is way, way out of the way. And the lady, I have to thank her because she was ahead of Nita, but she kept looking in the rear view mirror and noticed that Nita was doing this. And so she made a phone call, got some help, and then called me. And that was the last time I let her drive because she was a danger to herself and other people, you know. And she didn't realize it. Like, if I walked in the kitchen and it was messed up, I'd always make sure before I went to bed that the kitchen was clean, so I'd get up, fix breakfast, no problems. And I'd go in there. Somehow she'd get out of bed, and I was kind of worn out most of the time. But anyway, I'd walk in that kitchen. You'd have thought they had a drunk party going on. You know, food all over the floor, all over the counters, just stuff like that.
My goodness.
And she'd come in the kitchen. I'd say, and I'd know who it was, you know. But I'd say, "Who made this mess?" "I don't know," you know. And I say, "Well, Was it that bunch that comes in here and you whisper about? I don't know. You know, and it's just, it's pitiful to watch a person go down, and
they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can, is there not some kind of medicine that they can give them to
they might be,
reverse
but
it?
yeah, the nurse would get prescriptions for her and bring them over there when she
But
came.
had she gotten so bad that it didn't really help reverse it, or?
Probably not. Like her blood pressure had gone down so far that her feet were turning black, her toes, because of lack of circulation. And it's pitiful to watch them because they start squinting, you know, and
They're losing their eyesight, or?
I don't know if it's just an absolute horror story, you know.
And you went through this for what, 6 years? You said so? 5, 6 years?
Yeah, about 5 years probably. And I know I've heard of other people that went through it. It take them 20 years to die and stuff like that. You know, it's kind of like years ago. A guy told me that his friend went to the doctor, and the doctor told him he had what do they call it?
Dementia?
No. Anywhere arthritis.
Arthritis.
And he told the fellow, he said, now, you've got 2 choices. You can do the best you can with it and get by, or you can go home and climb into bed
And stay there.
and wait to die.
Yeah.
Well, he chose to lay up in the bed. Took him 20 years to die. See, that's, and I'm not saying I was by no means perfect in taking care of my wife. I would get so mad I couldn't stand it. I just, you know, and we're laying there and I'm sound asleep, and I had told her, I said, if you have to go to the bathroom, wake me up and we'll, you know. Well, I happened to just open one eye and look, and she was already at the door going out of the bedroom to go to the bathroom. And I said, do you have to go to the bathroom? No. I said, well, get back in bed. Who do you think you are? And I said, well, look, I don't want to have to put you back in bed. And she just wouldn't do it. So I got her pajamas, you know, and just, she had that hand up like, you know, I said, don't even think of it. But see, they're not doing it intentionally.
Right.
They just
don't realize what they're doing.
You can tell them, look, do so and so in about 2 minutes. Or you tell them, she'd ask me where something was, and I'd tell her. She'd come right back in the room that I was in and say, I forgot what I went for.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is absolutely pitiful. And like I'm telling any of you that are watching, get some help. I was one of the fortunate ones. I had plenty of help. And I want to tell you this. The 2 people from Southern Care were at the house that morning, along with the lady that sat with her when I had to go grocery shopping or something. And so I decided I'd go play some golf. So I played about 9 holes, and the nurse called me and said, you need to come home now. She said, I don't know whether she's going to make it or not, you know. So I went home, and I'm telling you, I was squalling like a baby. And I said, Lord, I want to thank you for giving me that woman. I said, you gave me the very best, and I didn't deserve her, but I am so thankful that you gave her to me. And request granted, you know. If I'd have been 105 years old, he still would have done what I requested. And you better have the strength of the Lord. If you don't have it, you won't make it. I'll guarantee you won't.
Have a phone call here, mister.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Turn your TV down, please.
Hello?
Turn your TV down. Okay, you have a question, sir? I didn't tell him to turn this off. I just told him to turn his TV down. I'm sorry. When you call in, if you'll turn your TV down or off, because when you're talking to us, you're getting a feedback, and you're trying to talk to us and listen to yourself on the TV, and it just doesn't work out. We want your calls if you would like to call in 369-1688. I'm
Call
sorry.
us back.
Yeah, call us back. Mr. Dave, I see in the paper all the time where people are charged with murder, where they've got a loved one, they've been married 40, 50, 60 years, and their husband
it's hard to
kills their
watch.
wife.
Yeah.
They just can't stand their suffering no longer, and they have requested if I ever get in this shape. And I'm not going to ask you, did you ever consider murder or euthanasia or whatever?
No.
But when you understand how a person could get that frustrated in life, dealing with this kind of...
You probably saw on TV here about a week or so ago that the young lady and her husband moved to Oregon from California.
So she could put her commit suicide. Or
now, I'm not judging it. Don't get me wrong, but if she wasn't a born-again Christian, she just thought she had problems here on this earth.
Right.
And the thing about it is, you know, they talk about ending it. There's not any end. It's one or the other. And it's like the Lord said, you choose. It just got me, you know, I don't ever want anybody to come up to me and say, oh, I'm so sorry you lost your wife. I didn't lose her. I know exactly where she is. And like I told her, I said, yeah, I'm going to miss you, but I will join you.
Yeah. Did you ever think about, first of all, first question, did she ever completely lose the fact that she could go to the restroom on her own, or did you always have to look after her, or have someone help look after her?
To start with, she didn't need any help. But then as the last year, I would have to go in there with her. And see, I had to put a plywood cover over that sunken tub because she had fallen in it by going in there by herself. And you have to, she had medication. I'd have to make sure, you know, that she took it, whatever. And, but it's
sad situation.
Well,
to some degree. Let me ask you this. And we've got a lot of good nursing home facilities. My son is involved with one, and they've got one of the best care that you could possibly have with dementia or Alzheimer's patients. Did you ever get to the point where you think, well, I may have to resort to going to a you was determined to tough it out?
Yeah. I mean, see, I knew her. If it had been me with the dementia, she wouldn't have done me like that. And I'm not, like you say, I'm not judging anybody for doing anything.
Right.
But I was very fortunate that the people that came in were very good, and Medicare covered everything.
That's good.
You know?
That's a plus for you.
And
well, I'm really impressed.
I want to commend you for the way you've handled it, and I think our audience is we got about a minute left, but I think our audience is being enlightened and can appreciate you taking time to share with the folks. I give you a lot of credit.
Well,
you
I
stuck with it through
appreciate
thick and thin. When you married, you said, till death do us part, and you stuck with your pledge.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you being with us, folks. We appreciate you tuning in. Now, we hope you've enjoyed our program tonight. We try to bring you things that you would be interested in listening to and hearing. And without our sponsors, we would not be able to come to you every week. We appreciate all of our sponsors and what they mean to us. Don't forget the Ritz Theater Thursday night and then Friday night. 2 great shows, Thursday night and Friday night. Try to come out if you can. We appreciate all the events going on in our town. Christmas parade, the first Monday, this Tuesday down at Veterans Park. Going to be a parade in town in Veterans Park at 12 noon. Try to be with us. Once again, Mr. Dave McComish, thank you, sir. Got to go. See you next week for another edition of In the Interest of the People.